Hey, everybody. If you have no artistic capability using brushes in Photoshop to create art like me, then you're going to love this because anybody could do this. I'm going to take an image that looks like this and I'll convert it to look like this. Also, as a bonus, I'll throw in another image that we'll talk about later, and that is going from this to this. Are we ready to learn this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and pushing ourselves out, thinking creatively out of the box when it comes to photo artwork. And today is going to be a special session because in the past, I've showed different ways of creating a painting off of one of your images. And we did like AI, but AI kept changing, or Adobe kept changing it. And half the time, it'll work. And then they change the algorithm. And now that technique doesn't work. And I had to figure out a different way. And then I've created templates to do the same thing. And a couple of people have made a comment, oh, why don't you just use brushes to do painting techniques in Photoshop? And that's easy to say, but I have no artistic capability using brushes at all until I discovered this method. That means anybody could do this. This is awesome. It's going to be fun. So let's dive into the program. I'm going to go to my workspace and just double click anywhere in the workspace. And I'm going to open up this image. It's going to be a simple still life. Let me just close this down a little bit, move it over there. But this method works great. And I'll show you a little bit later for portraiture, landscape photography, and again, still life right here. So it's not limited to what I'm just going to share with you right here. Now, what I want to show is how this technique works. And first of all, we're going to use something called the history painting brush. But there actually, if I come over here in my toolbar, you're going to see history brush and art history brush. We're going to use the art one, but I just want to show you how the history brush works generically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and prep the image by just randomly, I'm going to come down here to Oreo cookie dipped in milk. And I'm going to choose, let's go with curves. And I want to brighten this up. So in the properties panel here, and if you don't see properties, you can go to the Windows drop-down menu and you should be able to activate properties about 2/3 of the way down right there in the menu. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to click and drag to really push that up, the brightness right there. Then I'm going to add another adjustment layer, and this will be hue and saturation. And I'm going to push the saturation. I'm going to nuke it just so you can see that something's going on there. Okay, I'm going to select the very top layer, hold the shift key down to click on the bottom layer, and I'm going to consolidate everything down to a single layer. So Control E like an Edward, Command E on a Mac, and that again consolidates everything down. Now what I want to do is, because I've changed the image with multiple steps, I want to go to the history panel. Now I have it here on my taskbar over here, the history panel, but if you don't, go to Window drop-down menu. About halfway down, you'll see history. If you click on that, that will open up the history panel right there. And what I'm going to do is, by default, you're going to see the very top where it says still life. There's a paintbrush. This is called a snapshot state. This is the default setting. I did a few steps here. I'm going to come down here to this camera icon, and what I'm doing is taking a snapshot, this moment in time in history, where I applied these parameters over here, which was the hue and saturation, and I made a curves adjustment to brighten up the image. And you can see here, this is my snapshot. What I want to do, what's really important, is to click in this empty box, and it moves this icon brush into that box, which means this is what I will be painting back with. So now I'll close out my history panel, and I'm looking at my chip colors here, black and white. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold the Control key down, Command on a Mac, hit the Delete key, and it filled that with white. Now if I come over here and I grab the history brush tool, I'm just doing this to show you how this tool works. When I click and drag, I'm painting back that state that snapshot state. So if I go here to the history panel again to open that up, it's painting back this information. If I click on this to put the icon there, it's painting back the original information that didn't apply any saturation. So if I come down here, you can see this is the original image, but if I go back here, now I'm painting in that other state, which had the saturation and brightness. So I'm just doing this as a demo to show you how the generic history brush works. So I'm going to start all over. Let me close out of this. And now let's do a painting technique. So again, I'm going to open up this image. Let's move it over here to the side. I'll make this a little bit smaller. And to do this effect, I'm going to highly recommend that you do this with a mouse, and I'll do it both ways, a mouse or a stylus pen. So if you have like a Wacom device, because we're going to do something called scrubbing. We're going to be moving back and forth really fast. And it's very challenging to try to do this if you're doing this on a laptop with your touchpad. It can be done, but it's a little awkward and slow. Where if you do it with a mouse or a stylus pen, it works so much faster. Plus, you get the illusion that you're actually painting and stuff. Okay, I'd like to do a before and after on this, so I'm going to do this. Control J, Command J on a Mac. This is optional. I just want to do this so I can quickly show our before and after. And then I'll make my adjustments first. And I'll do what I did last time. I'm just going to come down here to the Oreo cookie dipped in milk. And I'm going to choose, well, let's go to hue and saturation. And I'm going to bump up because I want to make this equivalent to like an oil painting or acrylic painting. So we want to really saturate those colors. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to brighten it up by going to curves. And I'm going to push this up. Now, I'm going to give you some really cool techniques and bonuses here. I'm going to do this again later with a little twist. And it's really cool. So let's just do the generic stuff first. Now that I've done my adjustment, I'm going to select the top layer here, hold the Shift key down, click on this layer, and I'll do Control E or Command E on a Mac to consolidate that all into one layer right there. Now that I have that set, what I want to do is come down to the snapshot feature. So I have to go to History, open up that panel. So I have it here. But again, Window drop-down menu, come down about halfway down. There's your history. That should open up your panel. And I want to click on the icon that looks like a camera. I'm creating that new snapshot right there. I'm going to click inside the icon again, that little checkbox to put the brush symbol there. So I know I'll be painting back with that. I can close out of this right now. And now I'm going to come over here to my toolbar and I'm going to choose Art History Brush Tool. It does something different, the way it interacts. And I'm going to come down to the drop-down menu here, and I have a set of brushes that I have worked on, which is a topic by itself. I'm not going to go into that, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brushes to use, and I'm going to start out with this one called the underpainting with that. So that'll be my brush. Now, before I use it, I need to fill this in with white. So the chip colors here are black and white. So the background one is white. So I'm going to hold the Control key down, and that would be, let's see, Control be Command on a Mac. I'm going to hit the Delete key, and that fills it in with white. Now that first brush I took, you can tap on your right square bracket key to make it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to leave it big, about right there, and I'm just going to take my mouse now, and I'm just going to go across like this. So I'm just scrubbing. Okay, now I'm just going to take my stylus instead, and I can work a little bit faster and more accurate with the stylus. But again, mouse will work fine. Now, if I make this brush smaller by hitting the left square bracket key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, it'll bring in a little bit more detail. Now, still, it's very abstract. That's fine. But it allows you to make some adjustments. You're the artist here. Very simple to do. Anybody could do that, what I just did. Now, I'll show you where you can get these brushes a little bit later if you want, or create your own, or go find something, out there on the internet. I'm going to choose this one that I created called Texture Paint, and I'm going to click in this area. And what this is doing now is giving me more detail. Still, it's somewhat abstract. And again, I'm just scrubbing with my brush over here. And again, it brings in a little bit more detail and keep it, and again, the key thing with this is very subjective. You could be as abstract as you want or bring in as much detail as you want. Really cool. Okay, anybody can do that. Just a little bit of practice, but I'm just scrubbing all over the place. I'm going to use one more brush. I'm going to go back over here again, and I'm going to choose the soft round one that I have for detail. And if I want to bring in a little bit more, say less abstract, I want to bring in some detail in certain areas. Again, I'm just working fast with my stylus here or the mouse, doesn't matter. You bring in as much or as little detail as you want. Okay, anybody could do this. Now, let's do some little bit of icing on the cake here with this. Let's say I'm done. I'm happy with that. Now, with that finished, I'm going to go to my patterns panel. And again, if you don't have that, you go to a window drop-down menu, and patterns is about 2/3 of the way down. So make sure that's activated. And I have created and have this pattern right here. So I'm going to click and drag that. Actually, just click on it. It loads it there, or you could click and drag. I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to expand the scale of this because it's too small. Say about that size, looks pretty good. And I click on OK. Blending mode right here, easy. I'm going to go to, you could do overlay, which is a little bit more punchy, or soft lights, a little bit more subdued. So you can see before, after, before, after. Now check this out, a little bit of a trick here. By the way, if you're learning anything, if you could do me a favor, and that is help out this channel by hitting the like button, subscribe if you have not subscribed, and hit that notification bell. The next time I upload a video, you'll get notified on that. Okay, here's a little technique. If I click on the mask right here, and if I come down to my drop-down menu here, filter, come down to an area called render, and I'm going to choose clouds. And what that did was it put this pattern, let me hold the Alt key down, Option on a Mac, and if I click on the mask, it opens it up. You don't have to do that. I'm just showing you this for visual. And what I'd like to do, if we remember the rule, white reveals, black conceals. So the white is revealing those painting strokes. The black, which is not that black, it's sort of medium, is like hiding some of these strokes. So what I want to do is I want to pull up the levels. So that would be Control L on the keyboard. That would be Command L on the Mac. And I'm just going to come over here in levels, and I'm going to move this to the right. So what I want to do is make the black blacker and the whites whiter. So that way I know that the white areas will show those paintbrush strokes, and the black will hide some. So now if I go back here, you can see if I'm on the mask right now. If I just hold the Shift key down and click with my mouse, it's turning the mask off, and now it's back on, off, on. So you can see the difference hopefully on the YouTube channel. And you can play with the opacity here if you want to pull the opacity down. But how easy was that to do? Now, with this done, I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to do something a little bit more creative. And again, it's just an option. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to pull this down. By the way, this is the before, after, and after. Pretty cool. Okay, let's do this again. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm not going to save it. And I'm going to, again, just double click, use the same image again. And I'm going to show you a couple other images after this when we're done. Actually, I'll show you 3. Now, again, we'll come over here just quickly. I'll do what I did last time, and that is, hey, let's go and add some hue and saturation to this. So I'm going to bump that up real fast and then come over here again and just go to curves and go into the properties again. So I'm just repeating what I did last time. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here and select all 3, Control E or Command E on a Mac to consolidate everything down. Now I'm going to do something different. Here's the curveball. This image, if I go to my image drop-down menu, image size, I'm looking at the size here, and this is 22 by almost 15. This is a guesstimate. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go to image canvas size now. And I'm sorry, grabbed the wrong one there. I'm sorry. Image canvas size. There we go. And I want to make sure that relative is selected. The center spot is selected there, so it's not like that. It's right there. And I'm going to put in a width of 6 inches and a height of 6 inches, which means it's going to give me 3 inches all the way around. So there we go. Okay, now I want to stop, and I'm going to open up my history panel. So again, I'll just go to Window, drop-down menu, come down to History. The panel will open up, and I'm going to click on the icon there to take a snapshot, this moment in time in history. So there's my snapshot. Now I got to make sure I click in that checkbox to move the brush there. I can close out of that. And now I'm going to do the same thing. My background here for my chip colors is white. So Control Delete, Command Delete on the Mac. Come over here to my history brush. Come over here and let's grab underlying one. And I'm just going to scrub away. And I'm going to show you the finished product here in a minute. I'm not going to do the whole thing just to save time. But again, let's make this bigger so it's more abstract. Hope you got the idea. I want a sloppy border. Now I can make this smaller. So I can go in there and clean up that border a little bit so it's not as sloppy. Because maybe I want to, put my signature in a white area or something, or my corporate logo or business logo or whatever it is. So anyhow, so this is a different take on painting. And then I would just walk through and do what I shared with you on the first project. This is a cool technique. So let me close out of this to show you some finished projects here. Number one, this is the lifestyle I was just doing, or still life I'm sharing with you. So this is how I did the frame. So again, this is before, the after, before, and after. How easy was that? Okay, no artistic capability here. Let's take a look at another project I did. And that is, this is a high school football senior I did. So this was a little bit different. And again, it's my before and after, before and after. And then if you guys are doing landscape stuff, check this out, man. This is so cool. I mean, look at the before, after, before, after. This technique you're going to have fun with right there. So hopefully you guys are learning something. Now, let me tell you, if you can't find any brushes, painting brushes for the history panel, I will put this out on, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this out at buymeacoffee.com. In fact, let me show you what you would get, and I'm going to just charge like $5 for this. I'm going to give you a couple images to practice. It'll be this one right here and the still life. And so let me show you what you're going to get and where to find it. So when you go to buymeacoffee.com/Stephen Photo Artist, the link will be in the show notes, but you'll see it right here and it'll be on your screen also. But when you come to this website, you're going to be on the home tab right here. Make sure you click on the extra category. And when you do that, this is just another way of supporting the channel. I'm trying to keep these things very reasonably priced. Right here is what I just had loaded up, and it's painting with brushes in Photoshop. It's $5. And if you click on this, this will come over to a spot where you can actually watch a promo video that explains what you're going to get as a download with this program. So just quickly to show you what you will get, let me jump over to this right here. And we don't need this. And you'll be getting the brush pattern that I used in the demo. You'll also get the 6 history paint brushes customized, ready to go. And again, the training video that you get will show you how to easily install those. And then to practice, I gave you this image. This is what I recorded on. I did 2 different attempts. I did the generic technique that I showed you in the YouTube video, and then I also did the concept of framing it. and then just to practice, also a landscape image. But once you get through the exercises, you want to do this on your own images. So that's what you get. This is just, again, another way of supporting the channel. All right, everybody, I know it's been a long video, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Until next time, hey, see ya!